Minimalists.
Why is it that some people cling to toxic jobs or work environments?
I have a good answer for that one.
What is it?
It's security. It's the paycheck at the end of the day. It's the health insurance. It's the 401k. It's the security that comes with working for a large corporation. That's why I stuck in a really toxic job for a long time.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that toxic job. So it was toxic in what ways? It was making you miserable.
I didn't share the values that the company shared. It was a medical company. So I thought helping people get healthy, that's something I could really be a part of and enjoy. And then once I actually got there and learned more and saw more, it's all about the money. It wasn't about seeing people as patients and as individuals. It was how many people can you see in a day? How can you get the most money for each transaction? Mm-hmm. And I had a really hard time with that, especially because I got to call these people and ask them for money. And when you're talking to people day after day who can't afford it and need medical care, it's really disheartening and sad. And it really reflects on our society in general and how we don't take care of each other. And so the value part was really, a lot of it was that. And then also it's funny because it was a medical clinic, but to reward us and to motivate us, they just stuffed us full of candies and donuts. And so I got very sick at that job. So I think those were the main things, but I wanted to stay because I made good money. Yeah. I had a secure future that seemed a lot more secure than trying to do something on my own.
Yeah. I mean, we would rather cling to what we know, good or bad, helpful or not helpful, whatever you want to look at it, serving us or not serving us. We'd rather cling to what we know rather than take our chances with the unknown, essentially. So, I mean, that's why I clung to my corporate job. It was the same exact reason. I was like, oh, where am I going to go and make this much money? Because I needed to make that much money to pay my debt payments, because I needed to have those debt payments in order to own things to make me happy. And yeah, the context was just, just keep holding on. It'll get better eventually. Yeah. Yeah. And it just kept getting worse and worse. But yeah, I mean, there's also something there about like, we talked about, learning to love yourself with Mel Robbins and accepting yourself for who you are and seeing yourself in the mirror and really appreciating who you see. But there's also something with trusting yourself. And like for me, I remember I used to always say this to you, like we'd see a homeless person and I'd be like, Josh, like just imagine how many decisions we are away from being homeless or being in that situation. And one time you said to me, you're like, dude, that will never happen to me. Like I wouldn't make those, I'm just the type of person, I wouldn't make those decisions. Like I would figure it out. And really what I hear you talking about is how you trust yourself to like figure it out and to make it work. Yeah. And I don't know how to help someone get to that point of trusting in themselves, but in a way, people who cling to these jobs, cling to the paychecks, they don't trust themselves. And I don't know how I got there. I don't know how you got there. I don't know how you got there, but there is work to be done. If you're clinging to a miserable situation, there's some internal work to be done to help you trust yourself a little bit more.
I think it has to do with the stories that we tell ourselves.
Yeah.
We tell ourselves a story about money is the most important thing. And what do we do then? We diminish the things that are actually important to us. It's not that money is unimportant. It's that it's not as important as real security, because the security you're talking about, Mariah, is a misnomer, because that company could have gone out of business or they could have outsourced your job. There wasn't real security there. It was a sense of faux security, right? And so we cling to that sense of faux security, that faux certainty, because we're so uncomfortable with uncertainty, or at least we think we are. But of course, we all love variety, which is just a kind way to say uncertainty. And so we seek out variety or novelty, and we avoid uncertainty. We seek out uncertainty and avoid uncertainty. It doesn't make any sense, but it has to do with the stories we tell ourselves. And it also has to do with hope. I hope this job will get better. Now, we don't have any evidence that it's going to get any better, but we cling to this idea of, well, if I just do this long enough, if I stick it out, if I remain disciplined, then maybe something will change. Now, maybe it will, but if you don't have any evidence for that, then holding out hope in a scenario like that is actually a way to keep us stuck in a place that we don't want to be stuck in. There's a different kind of hope we can have. I hope that if I walk away from this, then there will be something else. As you said, trusting yourself, having faith in yourself.
Yeah.
I can have faith in myself. The homeless thing it was actually the most empathetic thing, because what I was talking about there is I'm probably 2 decisions away.
Of course, we all are.
From being that person who's literally across the street from here right now, camped out from our studio.
Yeah.
And also, mental illness runs in my family. And a lot of America's homelessness problem has to do with mental illness, which is exacerbated by drug and alcohol abuse.
Yeah.
Right? And so, 40% of the males in my family are schizophrenic. 40%.
Wow.
And so that certainly could have happened to me. For whatever reason, it didn't. I have no control over that, right? And yet, so I'm in some ways 0 decisions away from that happening. I see me in that person. One unfortunate circumstance could have led me to be the guy that is across the street. And so I have extreme empathy for that, so much so that it's so troubling to me because I don't know what to do. There are times where I want to help, but I know that often the things that I can do to help will make the situation worse. And so it's paralyzing, right?
Yeah.
Back to the job thing. Why are we clinging to these toxic work environments? Well, it's because we want something different and we think we can get it out of there, and we know that it gives us the certainty. We're terrified of the uncertainty. And so what we're really clinging to is not the job. We're not clinging to the work environment. We're clinging to that sense of certainty. If I can be certain about this, at least I won't be devastated by uncertainty. What's the antidote to that? We tell ourselves better stories about the way things are right now. We tell ourselves the truth, not some exaggerated, made-up thing. Things suck right now. And here's the 10 reasons they suck. With Mariah, it's like, hey, I have to do something that is against my values. I have to show up every morning at a time where I don't want to show up. I have to be exposed to all of these, the candies and donuts. Who was it that said, I think it was J. Krishnamurti, if someone places donuts in front of me, I lose my freedom. Yeah, and so isn't that? And so you're setting yourself up in these environments, and as soon as you start articulating what the truth of it is, yeah, the money is one. That's one truth as well. Yes, I make good money. That's part of the truth. But it's a narrow sliver of it. And we focus on that tiny little sliver. Oh, I'm making money. And we forsake all the things that are important to us, all the things we value. We forsake the people around us. We forsake our health. We forsake our contentment just to make a little bit of money and just to hold on to a little bit of certainty, which doesn't even exist in the first place.
Yeah. I don't know why, but I'm just feeling really compassionate towards people who, because it's not just the money for them. It's the money for their wife and their kids, their household. And they have all of these responsibilities that they feel like, well, this is the best way for me to meet their needs. I'm trying to think of a different perspective because there are people out there like that who they can't just leave their job. Well, I mean, we're never suggesting anyone just leave their job. That would be silly to just quit your job and start a blog, or quit your job and start a podcast.
Yes. You can do that. It's not that you should or shouldn't do it.
Right.
I think here's another story we tell ourselves, and you use the term here, the responsibilities I have. I think sometimes we think we have certain responsibilities that we don't actually have.
Sometimes, yeah.
I'm responsible for you and you and you and you. And it makes us feel virtuous about who we are. Look how responsible I am, right? We often, especially in our country, we talk about all of our rights. And then if we're really feeling virtuous, we talk about our responsibilities. These are just concepts. We make these things up. These are stories we tell ourselves. I have the right to this. I have the right to do. No. You don't actually. Yes, it's in a document somewhere, right? But I also don't have all the responsibilities that I've told myself. And it's not even me telling. It's not your fault or my fault. Society has told us, well, you have certain responsibilities and you should be a responsible adult. But what does that even mean? Oh, we're making this up. And so all the responsibilities you have, yes, you might have some, but are a lot of them faux responsibilities? Are you telling yourself you're responsible for things that you actually have no responsibility for whatsoever? If so, maybe that's part of the disempowering story that we can stop clinging to.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I don't know why it came into mind, but yeah, I'm just thinking, how can we help people tell a different story who are in that situation?
Did you enjoy this video? If so, you can listen to full episodes of the Minimalists private podcast available exclusively on Patreon. Visit patreon.com/theminimalists today. Your support keeps our podcast and YouTube channel 100% advertisement free.